Hi all, it is the introductory part of my series called Interesting Lit. Today's topic is the basic conception of literature. Before we begin this conversation, I need to say something to you all. When we are trying to learn something, we need to learn to ask questions. As we are trying to learn about literature, we need to ask questions to ourselves. Like, what is literature? Or which things come to our mind when we think about literature? Because without this knowledge, we cannot proceed to our next chapter, or we cannot just learn the topic very clearly or deeply. So to learn the topic very deeply, we need to raise questions. We need to raise questions. Every time try to raise reasonable questions, not in the field of literature, but everywhere in life. This theory really works. By the way, it's not my advice, because advice is the easiest thing that a person can give. Without wasting any time, let's get started. So in this video, I'm covering 3 important things of literature completely. So first of all, which things come to our head when we think about literature? Okay, by the way, let's try to do something here. When we ask you any question, you must pause the video and ask the question to yourself. Like, at this time, I'm trying to ask yourself that which things come to your mind when you think about literature. Okay, pause the video and try to ask yourself which things come to our head when we think about literature. Then you can relate this thing with me. Okay, so we think basically about poetry, prose, drama, essay, etc. when we think about the term literature, isn't it? Yes, there's things we just think about when we just think about literature. So poetry, prose, drama, essay, and short story, and lots of this genre are available. So what are these? If literature is a tree, these things like poetry, prose, drama, essay, short story, and lots more are the branches of the tree. You might know about all this probably, so I'm not going to discuss these genres in this video, or this video might be a lengthy one. If you want me to make a video on this genre, on these genres, please comment down below. Okay, so we just come to conclude in our first question, which was which things come to our head or mind when we think about the term literature. So poetry, prose, essay, drama, short stories, etc. just come to our head when we think about literature. So we got a good answer to our first question. So second question is, what is literature? So basically, literature, the term literature is as vast as ocean. So we cannot define it very shortly. We need lots of time to discuss it. Okay. And the definition of literature changes from time to time. So I'm just briefing the term literature. What does it mean? Okay. So literature basically is a group of works of art. Most of are written, but some are passed orally one generation to other. Literature usually means works of poetry and prose that are especially well written. Literature can also be called imaginative or creative writing with its artistic value. It means literature is a composition of art. It can be written, or it can be it can pass through the one generation to other generation orally. Okay, this is the short definition, you may say. And the last one is, why should we study literature? Okay, so as we get an information about literature, that it is it can be written, or it can be orally passed through one generation to other, and that just makes sense that literature, when you learn the literature, you might get good marks in your examination or your class. But it also helps to social development. Like, you can learn so many things through literature. You can understand the writer's feelings by his or her writing. You can improve your imagination as well, or imagination power as well, to after reading a piece of literature or any genre of literature. Because when you read any part of literature, it can be poetry, prose, drama, etc., it gives you a knowledge about the poets or authors or writers' feeling when you were just writing that. So it gives you the views of the author, or you may say the writer. So that's it. Please subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. If you want me to make a video on the branches of literature, so please comment down below.